There we go. Hello, everyone. Good day, everyone. And welcome to another fabulous soul chat. And I'm excited for this one. I mean, I'm always excited for all the soul chats because they all are so powerful and unique. And the women and the people I bring on they're inspiring me. They're moving me. They're empowering me. So I'm always excited to do these soul chats. And today, I have my dear soul sister, Francesca Littmann, joining me. And we're going to be diving into vocal sounds and its magic. So welcome, sister.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. Super excited for today.
It is such a pleasure. After our chat, it was for your podcast. Like there's so much that came through that we were like, we need to continue this chat.
Yeah, absolutely. And the podcast it's going to be published on Monday, so it's beautiful timing. I'm really excited to share that.
Perfect timing. It was so good. It was so good. And this theme of using sound to connect, to heal, like it just kept like coming through, and you were like, yes. Yeah. So let's start out with this. For those, for the people who don't know you, tell us about you and your service in the world.
Right. So I'm a voice and sound alchemist. I've been working with voice basically pretty much forever in different ways. Starting from not feeling I had a voice when I was young, growing up. Music was a big part of my upbringing, and singing, and going from that space of, just singing because it was something that came naturally to me, but also fearing singing in front of others, to people realizing I could sing and then almost having my voice like manipulated according to people's agenda. I started teaching singing when I was 16 years old, really learned through the experience of doing it whilst receiving my own training, and then stepping away, going into the world of energy and refinding my voice, reclaiming it in a different way. And now there's a couple of different things that I do with my voice. So, well, there's many different things I do, but one of those, particularly with my clients, it's about supporting my clients to really step back into their voice, to reclaim their voice, to reconnect with it. And that can be just the voice in so many different forms. So there's the singing aspect. I mean, the number of people who say, I can't sing. This is a key part of our existence, is our singing voice. It's before we're communicating in words, we're not even communicating, we're just expressing the sound. So that's part of it, but also supporting my clients in many different ways, just to realize they have a voice, to own that voice, to be able to embody and use their voice from this place of deep empowerment. And the other part of that is literally using my voice, my singing voice, just to bring through the healing frequencies, like giving sound baths, that kind of thing, and just seeing the power of, I think we all know, whether we are conscious of it or not, we're all aware on some level of the power of music or musical sound to access emotions and all these spaces within us. So even if we're not on this path at all, we still have an idea. We can put on a piece of music and it takes us higher, it takes us lower, it takes us back in time, or whatever. So it's really feeling into people and just intuitively knowing how to bring those sounds out. And of course, use my voice for podcast and this. I love these kind of conversations.
And real quick, you're connecting from France, am I right?
Yes, that's right. Southwestern France.
I love it. One of my sisters in France.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful place.
Oh, love it. So, I love the fact that your work, you talk about the singing part, but what I'm noticing is that it is way beyond the singing. It's really connected to the tone, finding the tone of your voice and expressing it through your body and, allowing it to vibrate out into the world. As I was preparing for this chat, this morning I woke up and there's a show that I used to watch, and I don't remember the name of it, but it had to do with witches in the US who were now fighting in like the army. They were like the troops now. And the cool thing about this, like I love magical shows, but the cool thing about this is that their power was their collective voice. And so they had like, like the groups, and each of them will sound, it was just the coolest thing ever. But every time I would hear it, I would have chills through my body. Like that was the first show that I've watched where it's like, oh, your power lies in your voice. And there's one episode where they went deep into the ancestral tone. And I'm telling you, at that point, my whole body was just like vibrating. So it's so powerful, like when we tune into our own tone, our deeper tone, and then go into that ancestral rooted tone and bringing it up. So let's just dive in, shall we? So let's start with this. What is vocal tone, and how can we bring that, bring that into our body, use that to heal, use that to align, all that yummy stuff that you do with your clients with it?
I think, we naturally just have, we've got this whole beautiful range of different tones in our bodies and or our voices, and we can access all these different parts of our voice. Unfortunately, a lot of the time we don't. If we go back to people saying that they can't sing, if you can speak, you can sing, because you can hear, even as I'm talking, there are all these different tones, tone colors, tone qualities within my voice. And we all have that, but it's really about accessing in a different way and deepening into what does it feel like. For example, if we just take a hum, we just choose intuitively whatever note we want. So just how does that feel when we really dive in? We close our eyes, we feel into our bodies. Where do we feel that resonating within our bodies? What's the experience? Do we feel tightening in the body, or do we feel release in the body? Where are we vibrating? Where do we feel connected to? So for me, I don't think about like one specific tone. I mean, there are all these obviously different tones that we can connect with. There's something I do called voice analysis, where you look for your gateway tone, that's a long story. I'll go too deeply into that, but it's a method, and it connects astrology with the 12 tones of the Western musical scale. So there are these, astrologically, there's certain tones in our energy field, or frequencies in our energy field that are particularly important to us. But also we know intuitively, when we tune into our bodies, when we really listen, when we really feel, we listen for that feedback from our bodies, we can kind of feel like when something feels right or when something doesn't feel right. And I think we were talking about this actually when we in the podcast. There's also a big difference when we're working with the tone of, are we doing from up here? Because a lot of people, we talk about the voice, they're up here.
Yeah. But
this is the last part of the mechanism, really. You've got an entire body to create sound with. This is just, it's a little piece. It's where we can manipulate the sound. Obviously the sound's created in the vocal cords, but we stretch and play with them. If you imagine like an elastic band, and how you can take an elastic band and you stretch it out, and you can create all these different tones from just that pinging away. And we're doing that with the actual the vocal folds or vocal cords, but it's the whole body. When we breathe really deeply, when we can really tune into the breath and embody our full being, that's where the real power lies, where we come into deep connection with that sound, and with feeling what we need.
Yeah.
And I don't know, does that answer the question? I don't remember what the
question
was.
No, you could. It's not even a question. We're just chatting right now. And I'm going to say, oh, hello, Terry. Good morning. And thank you for joining us live. It is true. when we're talking about finding the power of the voice, in our society, it is really, the focus has been on the throat.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're someone who trained in, like professional singing, that's where they're like, okay, dive in deep. Or if you're, like in the, I'm going to say like the not even coaching. Like if you want to find your true voice and you're working with someone, they will lead you to that deeper part. But usually most people think of the voice as the throat. And it's very interesting. There was one time that I think I was still in college, and my friend, my parents came to visit. And, after I was talking to them and they left, and my friend was like, you have a different voice with your parents than you have with us. I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, it's really high pitch. I was like, what? And from then on, I started noticing, like depending on who I'm talking to, what my voice is doing. And for me, like it depends on what I'm doing. Like if I'm doing light language singing, I know the frequencies that come through, there's a purpose for that. But if I'm talking to someone and my voice gets really high, I'm not rooted. That means there's some kind of fear going on. I'm detaching, it's like, it just is not connected. I'm not there. And so I'm very conscious about if I just tune into where's the truth in my body, automatically my voice will connect there, which makes it so much easier, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's interesting. I really recognize that. And I can feel, when I'm going up into my head, really feel it. And of course, we talked about this the other day about when we're in the space of channeling or like really into the work, there's just automatically something different happens in the voice, and everything is aligned. And I've experienced that as well. I can't remember if it's you I was telling or someone else, but there've been periods where I haven't maybe not sung very much. My early classical training was like, oh, you must always warm up your voice before you sing, and I maybe not been singing. And then I've been into these sacred places like churches or there's sort of castles around here. And there's something about going in there and I am just compelled to sing. And then it doesn't matter that I haven't really used my voice in a trained singing way. I haven't really warmed it up or anything for a while. There's just something that happens that when I'm in those spaces, my whole body aligns and all of these sounds come through. I can hit my high notes, like really, really high notes, from this place of deep embodiment, even though I've not been giving my voice the loving attention that I was taught that it needs to have. So there is this really beautiful magic that happens when we just step into a situation where we're in full alignment, and our voices just automatically do it. Just, babies, young children, think of how much sound people can make, and they can keep going and going and going in full alignment with who they are, and they're in that space of just it's so pure, that pure expression of who they are and how they feel in that moment, because the whole body is involved and they are fully aligned with their being. There's no kind of hiding anything or brushing over anything that's going on. They're honest, they're straight to the point. And you hear that in the way that they use their voices.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The way you were talking about when you go into these churches, sacred places, and your voice, that's my dream. Like that's been a vision I've had for the longest time. And that's why France, one of the reasons why the southern part of France is so just like, I've never been, but it pulls me so on. But I keep getting these visions of me visiting these old churches, sacred sites, and channeling, just either doing sound but sometimes I see myself singing. Sometimes I just see myself speaking light codes. Like it just channeling, I told my husband, I was like, when we start doing this, you better have your video thing ready. Because the moment we enter that church, like, I don't know what's going to come out, because it's been spirit. My soul has been preparing me for that moment for a long time. So I'm really excited to see what wants to be expressed through my voice. So it gave me chills when you said that.
Yeah, it was beautiful. So actually, when you were talking about it, and I could just feel everything signal like, yep, and there is, I think, when we allow ourselves to be tuned into these places, it's something about obviously us as individuals, our own paths, but also that connection with something much, much bigger than us. And we're invited by stepping into these sacred places to embody that. It doesn't matter who we are or whether we're used to singing or not. When there's that calling inside you, that place is asking, bring this here. It's magical.
Oh, man. Another memory that just popped in as I'm listening to you. My sisters and I sang, like growing up, we sang in churches. Like we love to sing, even up to now. When we get together, we're singing. And there's a point I remember we're singing in church, and I noticed that as I was singing, I sing soprano, not high soprano. I wish I could do like opera. Like I would love it. It's like my alter ego is doing opera somewhere in the universe. But I realized that as I was singing, there were these codes that were coming out, and I could see who it was going to and touching their hearts. Like it would move out, and I was like, "This is cool." Yeah, so that memory came in as you were saying that. It's so fascinating.
Wow. Oh, I love that. Love it.
So let's talk about this. How can we use so we already talked about where to find your true tone. Make sure you're anchored in your womb, in your body. I mean, just get in your body, and then see, maybe even experimenting with the different frequencies and see which one feels good to you, and then bringing it into the body. So that's the next part I want us to talk about. How can we use those tones to connect into our bodies and heal or shift or create miracles in our lives?
And I think the first thing, always, we start with breath. That's always a starting point. And as you're saying about making that connection, like with the womb space as women, or the hara for men, really breathing into that. And for me, when I'm working with the voice, there are two different ways. There's sort of, so for example, doing what you're saying, tuning in, and for example, let's say that you've got pain in a particular part of your body, tuning in with, you can take a tone and consciously place that tone in that place. But the other way is to tune into it and feel, okay, what's actually going on there? What needs to come? And as you say, to play around. And there's always this moment, this magical moment you can feel where it's really touching that. And then, there's different ways, because there's sending sound to that place. So, for example, I personally find, and people that I've worked with have kind of given the same feedback, that when we are, let's say that there's a part of your body that's needing kind of nourishment, let's say it's needing to receive the energy. So my experience is working with a hum. It's internalizing everything and it's sending to that place. So any kind of like closed sound. So it's going within. When there's something that needs to come out, listening, what is it? What is the sound or the shape that needs to come out? And, it might be just a very gentle, just a very, just a very, I want to say it's almost like a very fine sound, if you imagine this energy just going out like that. Or it might be like a great big, just letting that sound really, it's a little mini one for you there. Really tuning in, and it might be a low sound, might be a high sound. It might even be that there's a scream in there that needs to come out. And quick side note, if you don't feel comfortable letting screams out, like when you're at home, and a cushion's not going to do it for you. If you drive a car by yourself, excellent place. So it's a fantastic place I use when I've got stuff that needs to come out. There'll be words that I won't be using here, but really kind of releasing. It is we were designed to release stuff from our bodies, and most of us have spent our entire lifetimes holding stuff in. And it's just literally, we can just work with the sound to release that. And the more we do that, the more, Like when we're releasing, we're creating more space within our bodies, within our energy fields. And by, consciously working with sound, for example, mantras or just, for me, always going back to humming. Humming is, okay. Just seeing a little person.
Keep talking. Let me check on him real quick. Okay, I'll be right back. Keep talking.
I'm going to keep talking. So, so working with a humming sound, for me, just always going back to humming, I find it so powerful. It's one of the simplest ways of using the voice, and yet there are so many people who are scared even just to hum. But yeah, just tuning in and really, tips, for example, for working with that sound, working with how to hum in a supportive way, is really tuning down into your belly and drawing in the energy. So breathing in, and in that process, drawing in the energy from Mother Earth, really asking for that support, because you're here in your physical body and we are always supported by her. So drawing in and up that energy with the breath, and then really focusing from that space to bring the hum into whichever part of the body feels good, or just creating hum and seeing what comes. And to really be aware, like what's happening with the jaw, because if you're clenched in your jaw, there's all this tension up here. So playing around as well, like where's your tongue, for example, like a as I'm doing that, I'm just aware everything's really loose and relaxed here. My tongue is here on the back of my teeth, just very, very gently. And just tuning in, seeing what's happening in the throat. Is it loose and relaxed, or is there any tension there? And working just to, if you feel some tension, what happens if you're aware of just bringing the power from low down in your body? Another thing that I love to do, started off actually, I think I was probably already doing this, but I had a client and I was just guided to suggest she makes like a cocoon of sound around herself, so we can actually work with our voice. And you can use, again, whichever sounds feel good for you. But for me, the humming is always that, it's got that sense of safety. And it's about having our voice for ourselves. It's not for anybody else. It's not about putting something out there or showing anything. This is about holding ourselves and creating that sense of a cocoon of sound around ourselves, and just seeing, you can bring in, whatever colors feel good, or like golden light or whatever. Really working with combining that visualization with the voice. It's so powerful. And I love it.
I'm like so excited to try all of them. I love the cocooning part. Like, it makes a lot of sense if you're dealing with frequency. But what I love about this particular is connecting you to the visualization. So you're bringing it right into your body. You're co-creating with your team, with your divine team, with the divine, with goddesses, whoever you're working with. It's like you're very much active. You're using your voice to bring through into the physical, and it just is so powerful. So I'm going to be adding it into my daily rituals now.
I know, I forgot to add, because for me it just seems obvious, but it's also having that awareness. Obviously we're drawing in the energy from Mother Earth for the breath, but also just having that awareness of that beautiful divine connection, and just really allowing that beautiful light energy, however you experience it, to also come through. There's a few more tips, actually, if I can share these.
Please do.
Very often we think about pushing the voice outwards. One of the really, really valuable things that I was taught by a singing teacher, and so I've actually been working with energy with the voice for much, much longer than I realized. It was never presented to me in this way, but then I was like, oh, I've been doing that. Is when you're working with the sound, it's actually visualizing, bringing in like this thread of light through your Ajna chakra, and letting even though the sound's going outwards, just drawing in this energy to you. You can also do the same thing into your belly, like into the womb space or the hara. into, a couple of inches perhaps below the navel, just wherever feels right for you. You can also visualize drawing in the energy there, and you can play, you can use one or you can use both, but just this sense of the energy coming inwards and supporting you. So it's not like you're giving out all of your energy in your voice, which is what we tend to do when we talk. When we talk up here, everything goes out. We feel exhausted afterwards.
Yes.
Right? It's about cooling in that energy to support us so that we've got this beautiful synergy. I think that's the word I'm looking for, but this cycle of energy that's moving so that whatever's going out is also coming back to us, and we are ourselves renewing that energy. One of the images I use a lot for, whether I'm using voice or just for breathing, meditation, whatever, is the tree. Because we're drawing in that energy like the tree through the roots, up it goes. And then as a tree loses its leaves, it goes back to the earth. It's that nourishment to regenerate. So it's creating all the time. It's creating for itself and just bringing this beautiful kind of flow. So there's so many different ways we can use visualization. Just use our imaginations are incredible. So using that with the voice can be so supportive. And, if you're very energetically sensitive, which I am, one of the things I do, particularly if I try to avoid supermarkets, but if I am in the supermarket, very often I will just wander around humming. Sometimes it'll be just because I'm feeling happy and that's what I feel like doing. But there are other times as well, I'm really conscious that when I'm humming, what I'm doing is I'm keeping my energy within myself. The humming is automatically through the sensations, bringing things inwards so that I'm not busy out here and picking up all this energy elsewhere. It's helping me to really stay centered and to keep regenerating my own energy with my voice.
I love that so much. I love that so much. I love how you differentiated the different sounds. So the humming being more internal, and then you can, work with even like you can do the little sound outward or make it a bigger one, like a scream. But I loved how you talk about the different purposes, what we can do with it, in the visualization, even as protection, protecting our energy and also nourishing ourselves and our energies. Like powerful stuff you're doing there.
Yeah.
Absolutely powerful.
Yeah, it's amazing. And one more thing I'll add as well is that when we work with like different vowel sounds, when we do those open sounds, it can also really show you so much. Because, I've had clients, for example, that they go to sing an R and they just can't let the R out. And then we really feel into it and really give them the permission to feel safe in working with that sound. Then stuff comes up. I remember, for example, one client who, stuff came up about being silenced as a child by her mother. And by working with that and just working very gently and lovingly with that, then it helped to really release and shift that energy. Another one, I lived in the Netherlands for a while, and I was working with some Dutch clients online during the beginning of lockdown, and working with different sounds in this group. And I found that for several of the Dutch participants, the E sound was something like, oh, no, can't make that. And because culturally that was associated with this like squeaky high voice early sound, so which they've been taught like no, culturally we don't do that, and those particular clients. So there's just so much there that you can discover in your voice when you really take the care, provide yourself. If you want to work with your voice, and particularly if you feel a bit scared to use it, really create that loving, nurturing space for yourself. Set that sacred space, giving yourself permission. What wants to come up, just let it come up, let it show itself, and really hold yourself in that space as you're working with it.
There's like so many ideas popping in my mind. Like now I'm curious to discover the sound of my light body. So like actually finding out the sound of my light body so that when I create it, it activates my light body or activates my angelic wings or my golden dragon body. Like I'm so excited now to like tune in, like bring that through my voice. Like, oh my gosh, this has been such a powerful conversation. So I was wondering, do you have like a little exercise that you can walk us through the right now we can do with you to just get us warmed up, opened up, something connected?
Let's see. I think let's play, because I think this is the thing that we forget to do. You know, when we're babies, when we first discover our voices, we play and we discover these things that feel good. So we're going to work with a zzz, because this is going to get, if you really do this properly, get a hand on your belly, and we're going to get everything activated here. So let's just start with just zzz. Really feel that working like in your belly, and focus in, you know, you can close your eyes and feel the zzz. How do those vibrations feel? And then you can start to play with the pitch of this. So and then we can take it even higher. So a wonderful way of using what's called a siren or a glissando. There's lots of different ways you can do this, but it's a fun way to do it. So it's moving through all the different pitches in your voice. It's a fabulous way. If you want to sing, for example, it's just to warm up the full vocal spectrum. So starting as low as you can in your body, taking it as high as you can, but really supported from your belly. And you'll feel like, I can tell I wasn't fully connected when I went up high. So let's just play with that a little bit. I just want to invite anybody who's listening just to play with that a little bit. And just notice, you know, if you feel like a disconnect in your voice, just, okay, tune into where do you feel that in your body, and then do it a second time. And can you kind of smooth over that? And if you can't, just being gentle and kind with it, and just let it show you what it wants to show you. So. I
don't know where I start laughing.
There's another exercise I do. It's with a brrr. Not everybody can do that, and it's hilarious when I do it with people when they start laughing, because you just can't do it. You cannot and laugh at the same time.
Exactly.
And it's like great.
Ah.
Oh, you do that really well. Love it. You're also really high there as well.
I know the other one, it was like, it reached, I feel like it reached like right here, and then it turned into laughter. So I need to like work on that and see how I can extend it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much, my dear. Thank you for this delicious chat. Like, I can't wait to just incorporate this more into me embracing more of my voice, the different frequencies in my voice, and using it to amplify my magic and my light and my service to the world, you know. So thank you so much for the work that you do. How do people find you to work with you? What programs do you have going on right now?
Right. So my sort of signature program, if you like, is the Reconnected Voice Journey. And this is basically tailor-made. And, you know, I work with different people. You can be, you know, just someone who finds it difficult to speak up, and you're trying to find your voice in the world. You know, you maybe want to improve your relationships, etc. Or, you know, you might be an entrepreneur who really wants to get online to be, excuse me, to be doing this kind of thing, or to be doing lives, but there's this part of you that's scared to get out there. Or you might be, you know, in that space where you really want to step into your singing voice. You feel scared. You've got these blocks on your voice. So I work with, you know, different groups of people, and the Reconnected Voice Journey is really about reconnecting you with your voice. It is a journey that you go on, going through all these different steps, really according to what you need. Very, very much personalized. You know, there are certain things that I will use with each person, but it always, that's a beautiful thing. It will always shift to exactly what the person needs. And it's a very, very intuitive process, because we are, yeah, we're constantly changing. We can plan that, okay, on this day, we're going to do this, 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 and this. But if you turn up with something else that's going on in your life, your voice is going to be the first place it's showing up, right? And also, of course, when you open the pathway here for this, that's exactly what's going to happen. What you need is going to show up. So yeah, there's the Reconnected Voice Journey. Just personalized programs. You can find information about that on my website, which is www.francescajlittmann, Littmann with 2 T's, 2 N's. Not everybody always remembers that. So francescajlittmann.com. You can find me on social media. I do have a private Reconnected Voice Journey group. It's very little at the moment. My intent is to keep it small because I want to be able to actually really interact with those who are present there. So that's when I'm adding like little tips and, just opening that conversation. Whatever you want to discuss about your voice, please bring it forward and we can have a conversation there. You can also just find me social media, Francesca Littmann, on Facebook, Reconnected Woman on Instagram. Of course, a Reconnected Voice Journey podcast, which Abigail is going to be publishing on Monday. I'm so excited for this one. And I'm aware, as you were saying at the beginning, always excited for all of them. But
Yes.
The other day at the weekend, and I was just like, this is such an epic conversation. There was so much happening energetically. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was amazing. So yeah, these are the main ways. And I also provide like personalized sound baths for people as well, doing these online. So that's working mainly with, I've got a really beautiful instrument called a Kailani, which has this very kind of angelic, crystalline sound, and using my voice and just really tuning in to what does that person need in that moment. And of course, because it's online, we can record it, and then they've got that to support them with whatever they're working with. They can go back to it at any time, and various different things popping up here and there. But that's the main stuff at this moment in time.
Oh, such deliciousness. Oh man, thank you so much. So I have all the links. Yes, it's above. And if I'm missing any, I will just contact you and make sure I put it up there too for people to find. Especially the Facebook group for people who want to jump in there. I can add that to it. But yes, embracing the power of your sound in this day and age is so needed. It's something that is, I want to say, non-negotiable. We all need to find our true voices. We, not the voices that our parents taught us, or our friends taught us, or the community, society taught us, but what is your true voice? What is your true voice? Because that's the voice that we want to hear. That's the voice that will draw to you your soulmate clients. That's the voice that will draw to you the life that you've always imagined or want to live. That's the voice that keeps you connected to all the higher aspects of yourself, and the energies that are greater than us. That's always in our favor, right? So it's so important for us to connect to our true voices and express it. So if you are ready to do that, you know who to talk to. My love, thank you so much for joining me today for this beautiful, beautiful conversation. And I'm excited to, right after I pop off this, I'm going to be practicing.
Awesome.
Sure. Yeah.
So, thank you so much. I've absolutely loved this conversation. Absolutely love it. So, and keep me posted.
Yes, I will. I will.
Brilliant.
All right, my loves. Thank you for joining us. If you join us live, thank you. If you're watching the replay, make sure you put replay and let us know what resonated with you. What is your takeaway? What is something that you're going to take to enhance your voice, help you to connect deeply into your voice? We'll love to hear you. But have a fabulous day, everyone. And until next time, from our hearts to yours. Bye, everyone.
Bye.